Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tiger Talk. Gerard Wellbrock with you as we talk Fort Hays State basketball with women's coach Tony Hobson and men's coach Mark Johnson.
On the Tiger Sports Network, this is Tiger Talk, live from the Golden Q in Hays. The Golden Q, dining, billiards, and more at 809 Ash. The Golden Q. If the game is on, we're open. Tiger Talk is also brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hays and Ellis, providing the best in-home loans to the Tiger community since 1920. BTI, your John Deere dealer, with locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. The Taco Shop, dine in, carry out, or delivery. You've never had it so good. And G&L Tire and Automotive, complete automotive care and tires for all driving conditions. 201 East 8th on the Bricks in downtown Hays. Now, the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock.
And a good Monday afternoon. Welcome to Tiger Talk. This is Gerard Wellbrock, joined soon by head Fort Hays State women's coach Tony Hobson. Men's coach Mark Johnson joins us a little bit later on in the program. We are live again today at the Golden Q in Hays, home of the best burgers around. They've got their Monday specials, the 2 1/4 domestic pints, $1.75 single wells, and of course the grilled cheeseburger, the Monday special, one of the best burgers they have here at the Golden Q. Certainly hope you can join us for the program, make your plans in the future, or of course catch us on the air and online at hayspost.com. Tiger women, tough loss to Central Missouri on Thursday, but nice bounce back win over a much improved Lincoln team Saturday. And we are joined now by the head coach of the Tiger ladies, Tony Hobson. And all in all, obviously you'd like to go 2-0. You had a tough challenge in Central Missouri, and it was, I think, a game that kind of lived up to it. It was a tight battle. You were in there to the very end, had a chance, didn't quite have enough to pull it out, but then got a nice win against a much improved Lincoln team. You can see that on the floor. So I guess other than going 2-0, the next best, you got the split on the road trip this weekend.
Well, yeah, it's always good because you're kind of a glass half full person, Gerard, and that's good because that's what it was. I mean, it's just tough on a 4-day trip when you lose that first game. It makes for a long trip. So I was really happy with just the way our players settled in and really prepared for Saturday's game and took Lincoln serious, even though I don't know if they've ever beat us. We've been in some really tight games with them, and they've been playing everybody tough there. So I knew if we weren't ready to go and give a good effort that it could be a bad outcome and be a really bad week. So I was happy with the way we bounced back and the effort we gave.
Yeah, I think they've won once. It was like over a decade ago, and it was an overtime in Hays. But you've never lost in Jefferson City, and they're better. I mean, you can see it. And you kind of touched on it before the game and even after. I mean, they're more organized. They play well as a team, and they're very athletic. I mean, you could see the challenges they pose to teams. They're quick, hard to always keep them in front of you. I mean, they presented kind of a unique challenge for your team, and I thought, by and large, your guys responded.
Well, you can see where if they were turning somebody over and say you had, like we did Thursday, had 20 turnovers and they got it in the open floor that many times, they're really good scoring in the open floor because they get to the basket so well. Where we were fairly secure with the ball on Saturday, we only turned it over 8 times, which is maybe a season low for us, right down there around it. That limited their chances for fast breaks. And, the only thing I didn't think we did very well, I thought our shot selection was poor at times from the 3. I thought we pulled the trigger a little too quick. And, we're 5 for 25. We only have 1 kid make a 3. It just looked like we rushed a couple of them, and our feet weren't right when we shot them. And those long rebounds give people a good chance to get out and run too. But they can really score in bunches. They've came back from big deficits on a couple people in a short period of time. So we were a little wary of that and tried to get back well. And our 2 freshmen post players. I thought we could take advantage of their size inside, and they did a good job of finishing. And really, the first half scored most of our points. So a good night for those two.
It's good to see Jessie score like she did, set a career high. She set a career high with like 5.5 minutes to go in the second quarter, but really went to work, and it was fun to see because you kind of shared with us she's in practice she's able to do that, but it hasn't translated into games. But the two bigs were just that. They were big and kind of got you off to the good start.
Well, with Jessie, all it is with her is just getting her some experience and her gaining confidence. She's she was embarrassed after the game when our other players were congratulating her. That's the humble, quiet kid that she is. She just, and she just has to, become a tiger, literally on the floor. And once she does that and gains a little confidence and understands that she belongs in this league, she's going to be a good, solid player. And, Olivia's done a good job in a lot of games this year. Right at the beginning of the game, we have to find some way to sustain that. Usually it's hampered later on in the first quarter, early second with fouls. And part of them are her fault. Part of them are the rest of the team defense letting their man get in the lane and get to her. So it's just a team effort. We have to do a better job in all aspects defensively.
I don't like to comment on the officiating, but it feels like, at least it did Saturday, it felt like it's kind of going back to high school. And Olivia's 6'3", and because she's 6'3", she's fouling. Because it felt like a lot of the Lincoln guards would just drive into the lane, bang into her. And, I mean, I considered it a guarding position, and she gets called for a foul. And it just felt like, no knock on high school officiating, but a lot of times if you're a big post player, you just get a lot of fouls because you get called on because you're big. It just kind of felt like she's kind of faced a little bit more of that this year than I would think you might.
Well, it's like a big pickup truck hitting a motorcycle on the road. The motorcycle's going to end up in the ditch or worse, and the truck's probably still going to be on the road. Who do you give the foul to? There was two fouls, I thought, especially where they came down through the lane. I thought Liv was in decent position, and they just they throw a shot up, bang into her, and hit the deck. And it's hard not to call a foul, but if you watch a good official, they're really patient with that, and they notice the position, and if there's contact, it's initiated by the shooter. They just don't call it. But she got a couple tough ones. She just we're not sure I don't know what to tell her sometimes, because I don't want her not to help, but it's almost like she gets in the way and they bounce off of her and she gets the foul. So we'll just have to work on that, and hopefully she'll gain a better understanding of when to try to block a shot and when to just to not, and just get the rebound.
Well, the Tigers do get the win for the split on the road trip. They're back in action this Thursday, at least we hope on Thursday. Northwest Missouri State comes to town. They've been kind of on pause, but everybody crossing their fingers they'll be back. And then Missouri Western on Saturday. We'll talk more about those games as we move along here on Tiger Talk. And we're at the Golden Q, 2 blocks east of campus in Hayes. Your home for Tiger Talk. We'll take a quick break. Back with more on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction. Yeah, that was one of the 6 assists for Jaden Hobbs on Thursday last week when the Tigers played at Central Missouri. Come up short of that one, but knock off the Lincoln Blue Tigers to split the road trip and now get set to come back home for a couple of ball games. Hey, Tiger Talk brought to you by Golden Bell Bank of Hayes and Ellis. Your life has a story. Let Golden Bell Bank get to know that story. It's banking one story at a time. Golden Bell Bank, you can visit them at goldenbellbank.com. And, of course, don't forget to check out the new Fort Hays State Athletics app. You can instantly receive the latest news and information about Tiger Athletics, real-time alerts, and game day details. The FHSU Athletics app, free and available in the iTunes App Store or the Google Play Store. Search FHSU Athletics, download to your smartphone or tablet. We are live at the Golden Q, Tiger Talk on this Monday. Certainly good to have you aboard. We're visiting with women's head coach Tony Hobson. And the Central Missouri game, we talked about it. Emporia State, Central Missouri, they've kind of been the three-headed monster atop the MIAA standings. And it seems like every time you play them, it's in the conference tournament. It's been in the national tournament, or it's been a big regular season game. It seems like it's always been away from Hayes. They will hopefully make the trip in later this year, and we'll get to actually see them in Hayes. I won't believe it till I see it, but a really good game and kind of lived up to the billing. And you kind of look late second quarter, early third, they're able to forge just a little bit of a run there. And, you made a couple of runs at them. That was kind of the difference in the game, a little 4 or 5 minute window right there.
Well, I thought, especially right after half, I was really disappointed how we started the second half. We didn't execute a couple of sets we had talked about at half, and those are, when you actually talk about them and then you come out and you don't do what you're supposed to do, that's disappointing. But I think we turned it over once and took a bad shot the other time, and they come down and score. So this lead goes from 3 to like 7 or 8, and then it seemed like we were playing catch up the rest of the night. And we did make a couple good runs at them and made some good defensive plays, but it seemed like every time that we kind of had them on the ropes and had Mo going our way, they hit a three. Had a couple girls that don't take many threes hit them, and give them credit. They made the big shots when they needed to, and we just didn't make enough of them.
I guess what made Saturday's game with Lincoln maybe concerning was the fact that it was a hard-fought game. Olivia was in foul trouble. In fact, she only played, a little over 12 minutes in that contest. And so you had to, play a lot of players, a lot of minutes. Sydney Galladay went 28. Jaden Hobbs almost 39, 30 for Whitney, 31 for Maria. You logged some big, intense minutes. And so for your team to bounce back Saturday, but you had a shortened bench on this road trip already because of COVID protocols. And then when one of them gets in foul trouble, it makes it even more challenging. You could tell just the rotations and everything was a little bit different.
Well, it was. And, we were missing what had been, as of late, our first 2 guards off the bench, and our second best 3-point shooter, who we really missed against Emporia. So we were a little shorter. Now these other kids are very capable of playing and got an opportunity to play, but it changes the whole aspect, the whole rotation deal, and that game's an intense game. People were on the floor all night, going for loose balls. It isn't like the games sometimes you'll see on TV where the ball is walked up the floor. You have 20 seconds to rest between every possession. This was pretty up and down. They really like to push the ball at you. We like to push the ball. We're better offensively when we run. So it was a high intensity game. And just like Jaden, she took a couple charges. She played really good D down the stretch. She's, so I knew she really extended herself getting to the basket. She hit the deck a few times when she got fouled pretty hard. So I was worried about her. But she bounced back. She bounced back well, and it's a good thing because we played her 38 minutes again. And they understand that sometimes that's how it's going to be this year. But I thought some of our other kids came in and played some big minutes for us, and they just you need to always be ready in a situation like this because you don't know when that's going to happen, and it's similar to just somebody getting hurt, and you have to treat it like that.
Mentioned Jaden. Kind of to summarize how her year is going, she went 5 of 10 from 3 on Saturday, and her 3-point percentage dropped. She's on an unbelievable clip, but it's not, and the shooting's great, and she's scoring a lot of points. You could tell her role she's taken a different role. It's kind of, she's taken the leadership role, and it felt like last year maybe a time not that she wasn't, but she was a newcomer to the program, and she kind of yielded to some of the veterans. You can tell she takes charge, but 6 assists, 1 turnover. The other things, rebounding when it needs to be, whatever it needs to be on a given night, she finds a way to get it done. I mean, she's playing at to me, an MIAA Player of the Year type level right now.
Well, she is. I think if they had voting tomorrow, she'd probably would be. Um, the thing is can she keep that up? And we're hoping she can. But it's like you said, she does. She's shooting 54% from the 3-point line and taking quite a few of them. That's a high clip for anybody, and especially after they just moved the line back, last year. The good thing about her is that she doesn't take, one reason she shoots 54% is she doesn't take bad ones. If you notice, every time she takes a three, about maybe at the end of the clock, you'll see something different, but her feet are comfortable. She's in rhythm. And I guess that's just how good shooters are. That's why they're good shooters, one of the reasons. But she doesn't force anything. And I think one of the reasons our 3-point percentages went down team-wise is that everybody sees her catching and shooting, and sometimes we get a little excited and think that we need to take those same shots, and we're just not in rhythm. And we've got some really good 3-point shooters, but they just need to take in rhythm shots. And you'll also notice about Jaden, like against Emporia State, if you notice down the stretch who was guarding Treasure Jobe, it was Jaden.
Yeah.
Now, we don't want her guarding her all night because we don't want fouls. We like to press a little bit up the floor, and we send her back on D. But when it comes down to crunch time, defensively, she's as good as we have also. And she led us in charges hands down last year, and she is so far this year too. So she just does a little bit of everything, and really valuable for us.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll have our final segment with Coach Hopson. Tigers back at home Thursday night, Northwest Missouri State. Saturday afternoon, Missouri Western coming to town. This is Tiger Talk. We're live from the Golden Q, and we're back after this break here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that, we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a listen live link at hayespost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, Real Country. 99 KZ Country.
Yeah, Jessie would finish with 16, a career high for her. Olivia Hollenbeck also had a career high in scoring to lead the Tigers on Saturday. Hey, Tiger Talk brought to you by G&L Tire and Automotive. Complete automotive care, tires for all driving conditions. That's G&L Tire, 201 East 8th on the Bricks in downtown Hayes. And, of course, reminder, you can catch all the Tiger action on your device with the KJLS app, Mix 103.3, KJLS Hayes, iTunes App Store, Google Play Store. Download to your smartphone or tablet for free. And, of course, you can do that and then pause it and sync it up to the video stream when the Tigers are on the road, and you can hear our call and watch the game if that's how you like to go about it with the KJLS app. We're joined by Tony Hopson. One final segment here on this Monday. Tigers back at home, and it's kind of interesting. That was really kind of the first true road swing in the MIAA. You had the two games, Thursday, Saturday. It's just been a weird jumble, just the way the schedule has been altered this year. And now you come back and you get a couple of games, hopefully at home. Northwest will be cleared to go, but hopefully continue to play well. Two teams that are kind of hovering around that 500 mark, but yet have shown they're capable teams. But if you play well, you feel good about your chances.
Well, and that's what I tell our kids. Let's forget about the other teams so much and just make sure that we do everything we're capable of doing. And usually if you do that and you're at home, you are in pretty good shape. But both these teams are, they present their own challenges. Northwest, they really post up their guards a lot. They've got two big 5'9" kids that they get in the lane and they back you down and do some different things than most women's teams do. They'll play good man-to-man defense. They have a couple good 3-point shooters. So they're dangerous. Again, I think they're improved over last year. They've been close. I don't know what the record even is. They're 4-4 maybe in conference, but they're very capable, and we have to be ready to play against them. Same goes for Missouri Western. I mean, they kind of had to reload this year. They have a lot more freshmen than they normally have. I think they had maybe 4 transfer kids that were seniors last year that graduated. So they've got kind of a new crew, but they always play us tough, and it'll also be a tough game. So a good two game homestand, and we just need to be ready to play. And hopefully this last game at Lincoln can kind of carry over. We had our 2 freshman post players were really good and scored a lot the first half. Whitney kind of came out of a mini slump offensively the second half and scored about 10 straight in the third quarter and really got going. So she had a good second half and had a good scoring game. So I'm hoping we can kind of get all of our kids back this week. Hopefully we don't lose any new ones, but we don't have many more we could lose.
It's getting close.
We could lose me still, I guess, which wouldn't be a big deal. But hopefully we get everybody back and get full strength. Hopefully we can get going again.
All right, sounds good. It'll be good to be back at home. Tigers and the Bearcats on Thursday night. Coach, as always, we appreciate the time. Have a good practice here today. We'll see you Thursday.
Okay, sounds good, Gerard.
That's Tony Hobson, coach of the Fort Hays State women. Again, 5:30 Thursday night with Northwest Missouri State, and then a 2 o'clock tip on Saturday afternoon with Missouri Western. We'll take another break. When we come back, we'll talk with men's coach Mark Johnson as Tiger Talk continues here from the Golden Q on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
Fact: 8th Street Liquor is where good times start. Next fact: 8th Street Liquor has the best selection and prices on beer, liquor, and wine. Okay, I don't want to bore you with all the facts, but the fact of the matter is, you just can't get better than 8th Street Liquor. Yep, 8th Street Liquor, where good times start. That's the fact. Jack? Oh yes, they have plenty of Jack too.
Yeah, 9-0 run by the Tigers on Thursday. Unfortunately, we had come up short, losing to Central Missouri on the opening leg of the Mid-Missouri Road Swing. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Wellbrock, soon to be joined here in a minute by men's coach Mark Johnson. Reminder, Tiger Talk brought to you by the Taco Shop, dine and carry out, or you can use their Taco Shop app for contactless delivery. It's the Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. Mark Johnson joins us. Knew it was going to be a battle with Central Missouri. It proved to be that. You were down 15 in the first half, came all the way back, and had a chance in that one, just couldn't quite get it done. And then on Saturday, a good Lincoln team, kind of the same boat, just couldn't quite close it out. 2 really hard-fought games. That's kind of how it's been right now for you guys. You're battling, but just haven't quite been able to get over the hump here the last 2 or 3 times out.
Yeah, on the road, 3 straight games, and I agree. I thought we've given good effort. I mean, the Missouri Western game, I thought the first half we gave great effort, and sometimes when you start getting your teeth kicked in a little bit, it's hard to keep going. But overall, I thought we played fairly hard. I mean, the big thing with Central Missouri, you had a team first game back after Christmas break. You just kind of felt from them it was that ready to go. I felt like when we played Kearney, that was Kearney. A couple of those guys, that was their first game because they had COVID. And they just had that kind of mentality. I thought they played with a lot of effort. And then when you give a team like that the lead, they've gained confidence, and now you got to play them the whole game. So got off to a tough start. Really all weekend long, turnovers have really been a major factor. That's what I was worried about before the year. So if you remember, we go all the way back before the Washburn Emporia game. We're talking about, hey, we got some young guys here putting in some tough spots. And we're really about turnovers. We really did a good job with that, early in the season. And I think sometimes it's kind of like we talked about too before. Sometimes, like I said, hopefully we'll be going to that opening weekend when you don't know, you don't know. You know what I mean? And you're a freshman, you've never been put in it. You don't know how difficult it is. You don't know about struggles, and sometimes you get off to positive starts, and now you're starting to realize, there's some things happening here that make it a little harder. I always go back to, watch a little golf. You feel like some of those guys come out of college, they've always had success, don't know anything about not having success, and they come out and they have immediate buzz. And everybody's like, oh, you're going to see this name for the next 10 years. And then by year 2, you haven't heard from them again because they're starting to figure out failures, and it's difficult. And that sometimes that's can be hard to overcome. And that's something we got to face. Those guys, if you really look at it, the good and the bad, last year you look at with Nige and Aaron, did not turn the ball over. You know, Nige, I mean, our guys right now are on pace to have triple the turnovers for the season that he did and Aaron did. And that's too many, and we got to do a better job. But now you look on that other side, though, you know, Caleb's doubling assists per game than those guys did a year ago. Quentin's getting one more game than those guys did. So, I mean, obviously, when you're making more plays, you're going to have more turn, but it needs to be one more, not three times as many. So there's some positives there with playmaking ability and making some things happen that we surely need that we maybe didn't have a year ago. But then we can't let the other side of that get out of hand like we kind of have of late. And we counted like both games almost close to 10 times in each game. We turned it over. The other team went and laid it in or we fouled them. And then you just can't play defense. Like I said, with turnovers, there's the double whammy. You don't get an opportunity to score, and usually the other team scores quite easily. And that's just hard for us to overcome right now as a turnover game.
Yeah, Central Missouri, 22 points off turnovers Thursday. Lincoln had 18, and you combined for 21. And obviously that's just, yeah, it's hard to defend when they're going in for uncontested layups. And I know, I mean, I hate the phrase, but it is what it is. There is no Nige right now. They kind of just have to learn under fire. And you can see Central Missouri, I mean, they were really making an effort to double team them out of the perimeter and just making life miserable for them, and just hopefully something they can play through and kind of figure it out.
Yeah, in the long run, they're all going to be us and them are all going to be better for it. And I think execution right now is also leading to some turnovers. You know, things that I didn't really notice, or I shouldn't say I knew it, but you didn't know how much of an impact is. I don't feel like we're executing very well. And then you get to practice, and we're down to 10 guys only, 9 to 10 guys every day. And a lot of our guards are out. So now we don't get to practice every day. Caleb, Quentin, and Alvin, I'm sorry, those three, they don't play together in practice. Yeah. So now we get in games and we're all playing different positions. You look at B in practice has to play the 3 a lot because we don't have enough guards. Now we get in the game, he's a 4, and you can dummy those things, 5-on-0 all you want, but when you get in the heat of the moment and you're playing, you need to have it be more reactionary. And that's something I think is affecting us. I didn't really put it, I'm starting to, so we're really trying to emphasize taking time. And even though all we can do is 5-on-0, it is get those guys in their positions and practice and do as much as we can, because I think some of our turnovers, not all of them by any means, but I think some of them is we're not executing at a high enough level. And I don't think our guys in practice are being put in the same positions at times as they are in games. And that's something we got to try to put them more in that position every day to make it more, because like I said, when you get in a game and you get excited and things are emotional and things are going, it's got to become almost just a natural movement. Hey, we're doing this, so I got to go here, instead of you having to really break it down and think about it. And I think that's giving us little problems, and we just got to be better at it.
I thought Gilbert Peters, especially on Thursday, now he had a tough task on Saturday going up against Say Witt, who, I mean, he's just a large specimen, but 13 points and probably what you like the best, 6 rebounds in that ball game Thursday against Central Missouri. And he's slowly stringing together good games after good games. You're starting to see, I think, him develop a little bit.
Yeah, he's finishing at a high rate of 70%, which is really good. He's doing good. I mean, like I said, I think the biggest thing was Thursday. He had 6 rebounds. And I don't know on Saturday if he went back down to 2 or 3, but that's where he's got to get, more consistent. But I'm with you. Yeah, the big part of that was the 6 rebounds. And, I think at times we're better defensively at times a little bit when he's in there against a big, he's just a big body and makes it difficult for the other guys to get the ball. I thought he's doing a better job. He has a habit of staying tight on his man on the weak side. I thought this weekend he got better at coming over. He's deceptively jumps, you know what I mean? And he had a couple ball where he came from the weak side this weekend and had some blocks. And that's what we need to have because you're going to get broke down every now and then. Guys are going to get to the basket. It's kind of like Missouri Western when we played them. I felt like we're getting to the basket, like, hey, all right, we might score. And then they come over and just block it. And I thought Gilbert was more active in that part of the game too. So, we got to, sometimes we're talking so much about the freshmen because we are playing 3 of our 7 guys, but we also, Gilbert's a sophomore, B's a sophomore. And, you go back in time and I don't foresee these guys. I mean, Jared's turned out to be one heck of a player, and Brady and all those guys, we talked about them, but Jared wasn't really doing a whole lot more than what they were doing as sophomores. You know what I mean? So there's still a lot of room to grow for those guys, just not only the freshmen, but also Gilbert and B. Aren't what we're hoping they will be. They're not a finished product yet, and I think you see in both of them the improvement they're making.
Well, you mentioned B. He had 6 rebounds against Lincoln, and I know that's an area you've been. You're like every coach. Rebound points are great, but it's those other things. But 6 rebounds, one of his better games on the glass that he's had this year on Saturday.
Yeah, I think so, and we have to have that. I mean, just one guy of that game can step up and do that. Like I said, I think Caleb's doing a much better job getting down there on the defensive rebounds, and you just have to do that. I mean, you got to be able. Like I tell our guys, we've said this here. I mean, there's 3 stages to a defensive possession every time, and that sprint back and stop them in transition, play half-court defense is the second part of that, and then you have to finish with a rebound. If you don't do that, it doesn't matter you did the first 2. So, I mean, you got to be able to do all 3. And, because Jared, defensive rebounding, like he had 13. I mean, here's the thing about Jared leading the league in rebounds and had 13. He doesn't really get any offensive rebounds. That's not really his forte. Secondly, he's out on the perimeter a lot when we do shoot it. He's a pick and pop big. So he's getting all those rebounds on one end of the floor. So we got to be a better defensive rebounding when we arguably have the best defensive rebounder we've ever had and the best defensive rebounder in the league. That shows the other guys when we're getting beat when the other team's getting to the offensive glass. I think that's a reflection of how poor the other guys are doing when you have Jared Vitztum as one of your guys defensive rebounding.
He did have 4 offensive boards, though, on Saturday, which for him, I had to go back and look, but one of his better offensive rebounding games. Tigers come up short in both games. Now gets a lot easier. It's the MIAA. You only have Northwest Missouri State and Missouri Western coming to town on Thursday and Saturday. We will take our final break. We'll preview the Bearcats and the Griffins. When we return to Tiger Talk, we're live at the Golden Q and on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
Ready to discover something new? The next time you're in your car, tune your radio to 94.3 FM.
It's here!
It's Hayes' greatest hits.
Love it!
On 1400 KAYS and 94.3 FM. Do you believe in love story?
Well, 94.3 FM, KAYS. Go ahead, check us out.
Yeah, 9 of his 14. Fort Hays State started 0 for 7 from 3 on Saturday, then hit 6 out of their next 7, including 5 in a row. And really the guy who sparked that run was another freshman we really haven't talked about, Trajan Davis. It was good to see. I know he's been out of position. He's probably been affected by the lineup and the injuries and everything as much as anybody. Having to play out of position, that's never easy. And then when you're a freshman trying to figure out college basketball, but good to see him shoot the ball well. And he kind of sparked you guys and got you in that game and took a little bit of a lead there in the first half.
Yeah, no, it was good for him. It was good to see. Like I said, he came in here as more of a 4-man. He kind of had a low release, kind of shot it under his chin and shot it okay. Not great, but I mean, just knew in the future you're not going to be able to get those shots off in college. So we really made a complete change, and he bought into it. And like I said, anytime you make those changes, a lot of times you're going to go down before you go back up. And no one has worked harder than him. I mean, he is in the gym on that gun, shooting day after day after day. And it was just nice to see some results, and hopefully maybe this gives him some confidence. And I still think it's more of a long-range thing than it is, this year. But if he can do that, he brings a lot even in the future, because spread the floor. He's got good size. He's a tough kid. He'll play hard. He's coachable. I mean, if he can hopefully there's more he can do more as he gets older. But even if he can just do this, he's definitely a guy that can help you. Like I said, put a 6'6" guy out there that can make shots, is a fairly intelligent player, tough kid, do-right kid, battle. Because you're trying to get as many tough kids on your team as you possibly can, and he's definitely one of them.
Well, you get an easy go this week back at home. Northwest Missouri State, Missouri Western. I mean, I get Washburn obviously beating Northwest right up there. They're the 3 best teams in the league, but Northwest is still good. They lost a thriller to Washburn, bounced back with a nice win over Emporia State, and it's kind of the same cast of characters. You kind of know what you're going to get. They play the way they play, but they've been good enough to win a lot of championships. Obviously, a big challenge with them. And then Missouri Western, you've already faced them once. You know what they bring. They're as good as anybody. So, obviously, as difficult of a week as you'll have all year this week.
Oh, yeah. Northwest, it's really, phenomenal what they've been able to accomplish of late. You look at they've won 2 national titles. And injuries are part of the game. But, if Pitts doesn't get hurt that one year, they might have won it. And last year, we didn't have a season because of COVID. There's a chance they're working on their 5th straight national championship, and they've won our league how many years? 5, and here's the amazing part, and nothing against, but they're not doing this in the RMAC when we're in the RMAC. They're not. Right now, the MIAA is it's the best competition we have faced in my time here, unquestioned. And I say that's just what makes it even more amazing what they've been able to do year after year, go through undefeated in our league or 1 loss or whatever. It's pretty phenomenal. And, like I said, their main guys are the same main guys they've had the last couple of years. Their point guard play is phenomenal. Ryan Hawkins is a very challenging matchup. And then Diego Bernard probably on 90% of the other teams would be the best player that the other team would have. And he's their 3rd option. And then they just, they play smart, they're so good offensively. They walk the ball up. They don't play at a high pace, but they still just score it. And that's what ends up happening to you. Kind of like Western, you get frustrated because it's just hard to keep up offensively with them. And eventually your defense, you just start spreading out because they're making threes. And now you have no sense of any type of team defense, just because of the panic that sets in. And that's what they're really good about. But I have to give them credit. It is amazing what they've accomplished against the competition they are facing game in, game out. To do what they do is pretty phenomenal.
Well, that'll be Thursday night. We'll see what happens. Good opportunity for the Tigers, see if they can pull off the upset. Coach, as always, we appreciate the time. We'll see you on Thursday.
All right. Thanks, Gerard.
That's Mark Johnson, coach of the Fort Hays State men. Again, doubleheader Thursday, 5:30, 7:30 with Northwest Missouri State, and then Saturday afternoon at 2 and 4 with Missouri Western. Tiger Talk brought to you today by these premier Tiger sponsors, the Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, one story at a time. BTI, your area John Deere dealer, and G&L Tire and Automotive on the bricks in downtown Hayes. Of course, we're live at the Golden Q, 2 blocks east of campus. The Golden Q, if the game's on, they're open. It's going to wrap it up for Mark Johnson, Tony Hobson, Gerard Welbrock saying so long on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.